Chevron is a proud sponsor of the JASON Project in association with the Harris County Department of Education, HCDE.
Okay, so we just watched a video that talked about hurricane formation and hurricane prediction. So based on what we've learned here, what are the two things required to have a hurricane form? Griffin.
The two things that hurricanes need to form are wind disturbances and warm water.
Okay, great answer. In addition to that, what we're going to do is we're going to look today on hurricane prediction and the damage it causes and where it's going to go. And so that's what we're going to be doing today in our activity. Okay, so we're going to start today by looking at page 77 in our Monster Storms book with Lab 2 where it says Interpreting Hurricane Data. And with this, you're going to start by answering these 5 lab questions, which are also on your printed page. And these lab questions are going to tell you kind of an introduction to what you're doing today. So this is going to be your first step. I want you to answer these 5 lab prep questions. Okay, so the second step in what you're going to do today, you've answered these 5 lab prep questions, and now I want you to talk to your table partners kind of about what you've learned and what you found your answers to be. And if your table partner has a better answer than you, then I want you to kind of share that answer and make sure that you write down their thoughts too. Okay?
So for number 2, I think I saw like the southeast of the U.S., Louisiana, and a part of Texas.
Yeah.
To number 4, the water parts of the hurricane, there's like more cloud.
Yeah, it's more intense, except in the
Okay, so the next and last part of this activity is going to be you making observations based on the satellite image you see on page 77. And so you're going to look at the cloud coverage and where the eye is and what states are covered, and you're going to answer these questions on the front and on the back of your lab sheet for the satellite image. Make sure you pay attention to the scale in the bottom corner, as that's going to give you an accurate number to answer those questions. So the image you guys have been dissecting is of Hurricane Rita, which happened in September of 2005. And when that happened, I lived in the Beaumont area just right here. And so I went through a lot of what you're seeing here. I saw this come through. And I'm not going to tell you personally what happened to me, because I want you to look at the journal question and figure out what you would tell people in the Beaumont area or in the line of the storm what they should have done in that situation. So I'm going to wait to tell you my story until after you've come up with a way, what you thought the community should have done. Okay?
Well, what would you tell people who live along the coast where Rita is approaching? What do you think cities should have done before the storm to help protect their citizens?
Okay, so you just kind of discussed what you all would have done in that situation as city managers or as transportation people, what you would have told the city to do. In our situation, we were lucky enough to know about 24 to 48 hours ahead of time that the hurricane was on its way. And so we were all able to evacuate. Most of us evacuated north on the highway and went up towards North Texas and Louisiana areas to get out of the line of the storm. So does that kind of line up with what you think the city should have done?
I would tell citizens that live along the coast to also evacuate, but evacuate west instead of north, because sometimes hurricanes could go north.
Okay, so in today's activity through our JASON program, we looked at how hurricanes were created. Through our video, we talked about the hurricane hunters and what they do. You did a lab activity where you looked at a satellite image of a hurricane and were able to determine how far inland it traveled, what you would have done if you were the city managers in the city manager's position to evacuate citizens. And through all that, we've matched back up to our objective for today, which was to understand the role that hurricanes play in the formation of hurricanes, the role oceans play in the formation of hurricanes. Griffin told us that hurricanes have to have warm water and a disturbance in the wind in order to be created, which is exactly what oceans do to create these hurricanes. So overall, we've completely covered how a hurricane is created, what it does, the destruction that has happened, and what happens once it hits land.